natural plants that can be used for the promotion of our health in abundance. So much so that we can never exhaust them. And these are gold mines on which you and I sit upon. Let's look in the direction of the promotion of herbal medicine. And of course, with the incorporation with orthodox medicine, I'm sure that the sky is just the beginning for us. That is my own take, my own understanding. Let's do this again, same time next week, because this is where we draw the curtain on this week's episode of Executive Discuss. Till then, I remain Ololade Adiniji Adele, telling you to believe in Nigeria. Bye-bye.
NTA Parliament is a dedicated 24-hour channel that broadcasts activities of the Nigerian Senate, Federal House of Representatives, and all the 36 state houses of assembly. NTA Parliament, strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
As it is widely known that power is the propelling force of industrialization, apart from powering the factories, this plant will also boost the national grid. To complement the federal government agricultural revolution, the governor has constructed a cocoa processing factory, rice processing factory, and a rice seedling producing plant. A garment factory, which was commissioned by His Excellency, the Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, in 2016. The factory is the biggest globally, seating over 500 workers at a shift. This factory partners the Central Bank of Nigeria Anchor Borrowers project.
In terms of size, and having looked at what they also have produced in terms of what they're able to produce and the attention that's been given to the entire process, I would say that, without doubt, it can compete with any garment factory in the world.
We have over 500 here. With every turn you take here, you see an embroidery machine. I'm blown away.
In the same vein, His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, during one of his visits to the state, commissioned the rice seedling producing plant.
A conceiving project such as this, Governor Ayade has a keen eye for tomorrow.
Industrialization is laudable. An industrialized state stands to experience a high economic revival with controllably reduced crime rate.
The ones that were in the village that have nothing doing at all, today they can boast of their own shop, their own store where they can feed their family, as the younger ones can sponsor them paying their school fee. I think we have benefited much from this government.
We can also include the customers we get our fabrics from, because to an extent too, we're also increasing their income.
With these, we foresee Cross River State liberated from purely a civil service economy to an industrialized one.
Wannan labarin ma yana peji na 36.
Ita kuma babban labarin wannan jarida shine ainihin labarin da ake gaban jarida shine ta bayyana cewa
kuwa ji kan eziokwu
nwanne m nwoke
Ikechukwu ndukwe ido
iji wee mee ka ụbọchị na-aga n'anya ya.
nation fún ti òwúrọ̀ yìí ibẹ̀ náà ti sọ pé àwọn ìgbìmọ̀ aláṣẹ ìpínlẹ̀ Benue pàṣẹ wípé
ní gbogbo wa.
Party primaries have been held. Political gimmicks, intrigues, and tactics ensued, leading to the emergence of party standard bearers for various levels of governance in 2023 general elections. As the 2023 general elections draw near, what are the lessons for political gladiators and electorates from the just concluded primaries? These and more questions Panorama seeks to answer. Thank you for joining us on the program, coming to you live from Ibadan Zonal Center of the Network Service of the NTA. I am Adebola Oluwoledada. A 27-man presidential council on e-government and digital economy has been inaugurated by the President, Muhammadu Buhari. This is part of efforts by his administration to leverage digital technologies towards transforming critical sectors of Nigeria's economy. SEDA's correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
The Presidential Council on E-Government and Digital Economy, comprising 6 governors representing the geopolitical zones of the country, 5 members of the Federal Executive Council and other critical stakeholders, is to be chaired on behalf of the President by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Ibrahim Pantemi.
And this is part of our plan in order to ensure that by 2030, Nigeria achieves paperless governance, and we are on track to deliver this. And I want to use the opportunity to appreciate COECA, that is Korea International Cooperation Agency. They have planned to support our government with a minimum of 30 million USD towards achieving e-governance in Nigeria.
The council, President Buhari said, is put in place to provide the oversight that will bring about a veritable structure for accelerating the unprecedented achievements recorded so far in Nigeria's digital economy and in the implementation of e-government in the country. Following the launch of the National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy in 2019, the nation's information and communications technology has already been adjudged as the fastest growing sector in the country, contributing significantly to the economy.
The sector's 14.7% double-digit growth rate was instrumental in supporting our country to exit the recession triggered by the coronavirus pandemic. The significant contribution of 17.12% by the ICT sector to our GDP in the second quarter of 2021 is another example on the important impact of the digital economy to the overall economy.
In addition to the great strides in the development of Nigeria's digital economy and the implementation of e-government as well as government digital services, strategic partnerships have also been fostered with the Republic of Korea. As a result, several projects were launched, including the development of a national e-government master plan and the signing of the second phase of the e-government projects towards achieving digital governance in Nigeria 2020 to 2026.
The implementation of these projects will further strengthen the capacity of government to develop, adopt, and deploy digital technologies that can make government more efficient and transparent. It will also improve our global standing in the Ease of Doing Business Index.
The president therefore urged members to see their inclusion in the council as a national assignment by bringing their wealth of experience to bear in the task of enhancing digital transformation of Nigeria.
And I look forward to the synergy and very impactful contributions from every member of this very strategic council. I am confident that you all have the capacity and willingness to make this council a success.
High-level priority, President Buhari emphasized, is placed on the council by the federal government. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Democratic governance in multi-religious society is the focus at a lecture celebrating Nigeria's 23 years of democracy. Usman Aliu has details.
The conference hall of the National Mosque hosts diverse people for this special lecture for this year's Democracy Day celebration. Key elements of the lecture, Islam, democracy and governance, were tabled side by side by the guest speaker.
Muslim community in Nigeria, the Muslim Ummah has mixed feelings, mixed views and thoughts about democracy in a multi-religious society. Some have a big problem even with the idea of a multi-religious or a pluralistic society.
Considering the election season heralding another transition, messages including words from President Muhammadu Buhari, the Sultan of Sokoto, and other speakers were categorical to religious leaders on peace and harmony.
We use our religions, both Islam and Christianity, to ensure that we understand each other, we respect each other, and we live in peace. Religion therefore plays very significant role by complementing democratic governance in a multi-religious setting such as we have in Nigeria. Democracy as a system of government based on unity, based on justice, based on commitment, and based on patriotism of all Nigerians is something that all of us are striving for, and is what the government of President Muhammadu Buhari is striving for.
There were special prayers for Nigeria's stability and good governance. Usman Aliu, NTA News.
And in Ondo State, the government has cancelled this year's June 12th celebration. A statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Richard Olatunde, says this is consequent upon the terror attack on worshippers at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, on Sunday, 5th June 2022. The cancellation, according to the statement, is to enable the entire people of Ondo State mourn their loved ones who lost their lives in the attack. Recall that the Ondo State Governor, Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, had directed that all flags in the state be flown at half-mast for 7 days in honor of the victims of the terror attack. Nigeria has joined other countries across the globe to advocate a renewed commitment from the ILO towards helping nations of least developed and developing countries for the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) by 2030. This was part of the request by the Nigerian government, employers and workers representatives at the 110th International Labour Conference of the ILO in Geneva, Switzerland. Emmanuel Ayemiro reports.
With growing inequality gaps further compounded by the impact of COVID-19, leading to slow recovery, particularly among countries regarded as least developed. Achieving SDGs by 2030 is at a great risk. This was part of Nigeria's observations while addressing the Parliament of Work in Geneva. Nigeria reminded the ILO that if the goal of not leaving anyone behind is ever to be realized, urgent efforts, supports and contributions are required by all in a renewed commitment to multilateralism and international cooperation.
The volume of job losses and the established link between social justice and global peace should provoke honest debate at this conference. The wave of insecurity, terrorism, food scarcity, rising cost of energy, Impact of COVID-19, amongst others, should challenge our common humanity and shared international relations.
Human-centered recovery, which we advocated at the conference last year, did not, and indeed could not, have foreseen any of this. But it is the harsh reality of the moment, and we must confront it.
From now, the nations struggling from economic losses across the world are expected to be looking forward to the ILO for technical assistance and other supports for recovery and the attainment of the SDG, particularly now that the conference has focused on the least developed countries. From Geneva, Switzerland, Emmanuel Ayimiru, NTA News.
Now, President of the Senate, Ahmad Lawan, has urged the striking workers of the National Assembly to call off their industrial action and instead embrace dialogue for speedy resolution of the disputes. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President of the Media and Publicity, Awoniyi, I beg your pardon, the appeal at the closed-door meeting involving the workers and National Assembly management, which is summoned to find a way out of the lingering issues between the workers of the management of the National Assembly. After the two sides had narrated their positions, the dispute, the Senate President assured the workers that he would reach out to the relevant authorities that would facilitate the speedy resolution of the issues involved. An expansion work has been flagged off at the 760 megawatts Kanji Hydroelectric Dam in Niger State. The federal government is targeting additional 220 megawatts to bring the generation capacity of the dam to about 1,000 megawatts of electricity. Joshua Ojito reports.
Kanji Hydro Dam, one of Nigeria's biggest and oldest dam infrastructure, generating 760 megawatts of electricity to the national grid. The growing energy demand in the country prompts its upgrade and expansion to wrap up generation and boost supply. The expansion work is to enable the dam generate additional 220 megawatts of electricity, bringing the total generation capacity of the dam to 980 megawatts.
With these and other interventions coming in to the power sector, it's just a matter of time. We have to have patience. We are doing a lot. The government is doing a lot in terms of policy, and the government is also investing through the provision of an expansion of the transmission infrastructure, which will, and it's unprecedented.
With the 220 megawatt that will be added to the grid, it will definitely have significant impact on the economy of the nation.
We are happy. We congratulate the Minister of Power, for piloting this, with the guidance of the ministry and all the other stakeholders, so that we can deliver power to Nigeria.
With the current electricity generation hovering around 5,000 megawatts, which the Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, describes as inadequate for a country of more than 200 million people. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Panorama continues after this break. Do stay with us.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
Come back. The All Progressives Congress Presidential Support Committee is engaging stakeholders to ensure optimum performance in next year's general elections. The emergence of APC's presidential candidate Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the group says, will make their work easy. Saliu Guanara reports. And that takes us to the next story. 23 years of democracy and democratic government in the Fourth Republic has brought various strides and its accompanying challenges. In this report, Ayomiku Ajibola takes a look at the fledgling stage of Nigeria's democracy, its recorded achievements, and the future projection.
The return to democratically rule in Nigeria in 1999 raised the hope that the myriad of problems ranging from instability in the polity, societal ills, poor economic development, and alienated political leadership, if not eradicated, could be drastically reduced. No doubt, there have been turbulent periodic elections. However, what is missing is a genuine accountability and fair game in the internal democracy of various political parties. This is one of the concepts that gave birth to different amendments in the 2022 Electoral Act. In view of this, political parties in the country have concluded their primary elections, general elections. Eligible delegates participated their role either through direct or indirect primary elections for nomination of party candidates for state and federal elected positions.
The delegate system, these indirect primaries that we run, unless we actually make some provisions in the pre-primary process that will serve as monitoring and evaluation system.
This is June.
Any one of these days. If they will only work on the systems, if they will work on the structures, if they will work on the institutions, and can be a very, very solid president of this country. That's what I was taking away.
There's no way where it is written that, okay, it is turn by turn Nigeria. If Southern candidate don't see this time, it will go to the north. But for political convenience, political parties have arranged that, okay, if it comes from the north this time, it will come from the south. So, if it's turn by turn Nigeria, even if it comes from, it rotates to the south. The southwest, the only south, where do you put south? South I done it probably 4 years when we remember Jonathan. Where is the southeast?
As Nigeria prepare for another election in 2023, it behoves on all stakeholders to play the required role to sustain the smooth sail of democracy in the country in line with the vision of the founding fathers. In Ibadan, Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
And with me in the studio is the Professor of Public Administration, Political Institutions, Policy and Strategic Studies, Dr. Dekrola Yagbuyaju. You're welcome to Panorama.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me.
From those analyses in the background report, how would you describe a quality democracy?
Thank you so very much. For me, quality democracy is one that is characterized by some important features, namely institutions and processes that will lead to the attainment of the tenets of democracy, accountability, transparency, and the general human development leading up to the greatest happiness for the greatest number of citizens in the country.
And so with that, would you say Nigeria is in the state of quality democracy?
Oh, yes, of course. We are not yet there, but certainly we are on our way there. Democracy is a process.
Okay.
It's a process, and it doesn't come overnight. It is slow in coming. The results are usually slow in coming. For us, it looks like a long journey with a small miracle, but certainly Nigeria is on the track. And if things are done appropriately and are done with the necessary and required commitment, we surely get there.
Now, looking at the just concluded primaries, party primaries in Nigeria, all over the state, and also presidential primaries, what does it say about the Nigerian democracy?
Clearly, it clearly tells us who we are as a people. The political parties have organized their primaries, and they have elected or selected their candidates by the delegates, also selected from the ward and local government and the local levels of the political parties. So to a very large extent, they have selected Nigerians, out of which we are to elect our president and to elect our governors to come 2023 general election.
From what you have just said, would you say that the electorates have given their best candidates for the 2023 general elections?
To a very large extent, that question can easily or more appropriately be answered by the delegates in the political parties. But to a large extent, since we did not notice any serious rancor or violence at the end of the primaries, no serious controversy, we've not heard of any of the leading aspirants going for any kind of litigation or petition. To that extent, the delegates have selected the very best for their parties. His Excellency Atiku Abubakar for PDP, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu for APC, and His Excellency Peter Obi for LP, among others.
So from every event, there's always a lesson to learn. What lessons can be taken away from these primaries in 2022 ahead of general elections?
I think to a very large extent, for me, the biggest lesson is for Nigerians, particularly the ordinary Nigerians, to take ownership of the democratic and political processes in the country. Not until we are able to take ownership of the democratic and political processes, then in addition to that, we should also be as vigilant as possible. Volunteers will need to come up to play their role, because there is a great role for volunteers in the whole process.
Thank you very much for coming. I have been speaking with Professor of Public Administration, Political Institutions, Policy and Strategic Studies, Dikeola Yabuyaju. Thank you for coming to Panorama.
Thank you so very much.
And now let's join our sports desk for sports updates.
Matches in the Nigerian Professional Football League show that Enyiba Football Club will welcome Kwara United to Aba, Katsina United to host bottom-of-the-table team MFM, while Kano Pillars are to entertain Wiki Tories of Bauchi. Still on football, Kylian Mbappe rescued France, a point in Austria, as the world champions remain winless in the European Nations League. Mbappe came on as a second-half substitute, finished smartly after a lightning break from the visitors led to the equalizer in the 83rd minute. Bristol City striker Andres Wellman, aged 30, earlier scored his first international goal to threaten an upset. France have just 3 points from 3 Group A1 games. France still have a mountain to climb to reach next year's Nations League finals, having previously thrown away 2 leads in 5 days in a loss to Denmark and draw with Croatia. The 57th edition of College Athletics NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships, which started from on the 6th to 11th of June in Eugene, Oregon, USA, has come to a close with 2 young Nigerians performing brilliantly. The 2022 edition saw Favour Ache coming second in the 100 meters behind the winner, Julian Alfred, while Udoji Onwuzurike took third position in the 200 meters. Micah Williams and Joseph Fahumbule came second and first respectively. To tennis, Andy Murray beat Greek top seed world number 5 Stefanos Tsitsipas 7-6, 7-4, 6-3 to reach Boss Open semi-finals in Stuttgart, Germany. 35-year-old Murray claimed one of his biggest victories by ranking since returning from career 7 hip surgery in 2019 and first victory over a top 5 player since 2016. Murray will play Nick Kyrgios in the last 4 later today. In basketball, Stephen Curry helps Golden State Warriors level series with Boston Celtics in the NBA. Stephen Curry scored 43 points for the Golden State Warriors as they beat the Boston Celtics 1-0-97 in Game 4 to level the NBA Finals at 2-2. Boston led 94-90 with just over 5 minutes left, but 10 consecutive points helped the Warriors to victory. Curry scored 7 3-pointers from 14 attempts and did not appear troubled by a left foot injury sustained in Game 3. Curry is averaging 34.3 points in the series. With Sports Update and Ojo Adiku, NTA News.
Panorama today. Thank you for joining us on Panorama from Ibadan Zonal Center on the network service of the NTA. Remember to connect with the NTA. Stand against rape and rapists. Good afternoon.
Thank you.